Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TP's podcast, and I'm Matty, your host, with JoJo, the engineer. Say hello.
Hello, world.
A little bit subdued today. Anyway, okay, here we are. What have you got to say? What have we got to say for ourselves?
Well, you might be subdued, but I'm ready to crank up the vibe. So, woo
Well,
woo.
I'm outside right now, so I can't get too crazy.
All right, well, not too crazy. You're in the jacuzzi, aren't you?
I certainly am.
Oh, geez, here we go, people. Here we go.
I know. Don't give away my secrets, Joe.
Hey, it's the best way to do a podcast, in my opinion. If I had one, I'd be doing it.
A podcast or a jacuzzi?
Both.
Mm. All right. Well,
Anyhow,
I have to spend special care to not talk over you, Joe, today.
okay.
All right.
Well,
All right. What are we talking about today? Podcast 18, by the way.
podcast number 18.
All right. But here we are, two peas in a podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
We
And
are.
we are on air, Matty and JoJo, live with you, sort of.
Yes.
I mean, it's live on our end, so even though we edit, or even though you edit, it's still off. You know, we're flying by the seat of our pants here.
Yeah. Well,
So forgive us.
I know a good thing to start with. So we kind of talked last time about the seed of the soul.
The tongue's in, yeah.
Okay. Have you been to Telegram this morning? I sent you a picture and it just kind of blew my mind.
Okay. Here.
All right.
Is it the one with Moses?
Yes, the infamous picture where they're almost touching. But look at that. So anytime I've ever seen this painting, it's obviously always just been the two men in the picture, but it's never been that brain in there. And whether or not somebody added that just for us or what, that blew my mind though.
Yeah, well, you know, they surmise that Michelangelo is really just another word from Archangel Michael,
Yes. Oh my God.
because these paintings were done during the time of the millennial reign. I'm actually more and more and more convinced of that every single day.
Sure. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh my
I
God.
mean, it keeps fitting in, but these ogiographies, geographies, however you pronounce it,
Yeah.
the writings of the saint, and then Jason Jack's doing a whole series on it, and he's like, let's just read them, because like, where did these come from? And he goes, let's just read them and see if it fits in, and I'll be darned if it just keeps fitting in.
Yeah.
So I was going to talk a little bit about it today, but I don't want to disturb what you're talking about. So I don't know if that's Moses, but it's some God. Is that God inside the painting? Inside the brain?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it's. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this thing behind him, but he's got his arm around somebody, so it must be. So we got to take this. Well, you know, we're going to take this photo, take it over to Google, and put it onto the internet and see, can we get a match of this?
Oh, good idea. Good idea.
I won't do that right now, but or maybe I could do it while we're talking. I guess I could. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
So it just blew my mind because, there's always that talk of when we think about religion, when we think about faith, when we think about God, I think many people see him as an entity outside of themselves, so far away from them, which is why maybe they lose their faith or they start to walk down a dark path, when in reality, it's always been within you. I mean, that just gives me chills even talking about it.
Yeah. Whenever you've got problems, the problems are on the outside.
Yes.
Don't go seeking the wisdom from the outside per se. It just comes from with your inner knowing, because that's your connection.
That pineal gland, that voice of person, that discernment you have in your gut, all of that, I believe, God.
That eighth organ that they've just magically discovered, that
Yes.
they probably already knew about the whole time. And
It's crazy how everything sings back to us for us. It's like the universe is like, here you go, every time for us. I feel like.
I think they're listening to us.
Or that.
And they're like, oh, cue this for them. Cue this for them.
And I'm not even kidding, because it literally only took me opening X this morning to find that picture. And I was like, boom, here we are. Universe, thank you. Another one is a Justin Trudeau, who we couldn't think of his name last time.
Couldn't think of his name. Good overlay.
Oh my gosh. So supposedly his sister has now come out verifying that, yes, in fact, that is her brother and Castro is his father.
Years we've heard rumors that Justin Trudeau, the former Prime Minister of Canada, could be your half-brother. What do you think of that?
The only thing I can say is that his mother used to visit the country very often.
Well, that may be a tell then. I guess that's a half answer.
Yeah.
Do you plan to call him and maybe find out?
No. I won't do it. If he wants, he's going to be welcome, but I won't. I think he keeps that to himself, and you have to respect that.
So,
yeah, we need that because they look exactly the same.
they look exactly the same. So boom, another one for the conspiracy theorists out there. Geez, how many medals is that now? I've lost count. Whoop.
Yeah, you could do an overlay of both those faces side by side. It's pretty close.
Oh, it's so close. It's so
Plus, she was hanging out with Castro. But the other thing that also determines the fact that it's all communism.
Sure.
Like he was a communist. Canada's like, I didn't realize how Illuminati Canada was.
Oh, I know.
But now it's super Illuminati, and they're trying to sell Vancouver and Vancouver Island to the Chinese. I'm like, please don't do that.
Right.
Why? But maybe I hate this because it's ambiguous. Because it's like China's doing all the cool stuff right now. Russia's doing all the cool stuff right now. We're meant to believe that the RV is going to happen in China and Russia's going to help us.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, they still call their countries communism.
Yep.
They're still run by the Group X, and and so it's like, oh, I can make a case that, see, the good things are happening, but I'm like, no, dude, they're still not saying openly that they're not communists anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, they're like speaking out of both sides of their mouth. I don't like it, and for that reason, I can't get behind any of it.
Right. I know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm like barking up the wrong tree, but I'm like, like in other words, oh, okay, so maybe the Chinese are going to help us, and them buying this land is going to help us. But so far, they've bought all this land in America. It didn't help us.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing got better. They own Los Angeles Port, Long Beach Port, San Francisco Port. That's not helping us.
Right.
Those towns are some of the worst towns in California, obviously. Who knows what they're putting through there? We got Chinese dudes coming to the border, and only fighting age males that look like they just came out of the army,
Mm-hmm.
and wearing gear. I mean, that just came out like a couple days, yesterday, whatever. You saw that.
Yeah.
And they got them all rounded up, and that's like 10 or 11 of them. There's been way more. Over the last few years, they caught them in line, standing in line. They can't speak a word of English.
Mm-hmm.
They got that guy that was in Las Vegas in some sort of Airbnb, and he was running some sort of weird bio lab.
Yeah.
They busted him, right, and he ends up being Israeli, but the people working for him are all Chinese. Right, and then guess what? They just released him the other day, so he's gone. No punishment whatsoever. Nothing happened.
Right.
He flew back to the infamous sandbox country. Who knows what happened to the Chinese people?
Yeah.
There was some other weird stuff going on in California with Chinese people. I don't trust them. I'm half Chinese.
Right.
Trust me. Trust me. Do not trust them. Listen, I came from Singapore, Australia, Singapore. I'm not like mainland CCP Chinese.
Yeah. Right.
I think if you could honestly ask Chinese people, I'm sure they don't want communism.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
But then it's also a closed country, so we really don't even know what's going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have the maglev, right? They're like, the first country to openly have a surface-dwelling maglev train, magnetic levitation.
Yeah.
I surmise that it's reaching like 300 or 400 miles per hour. right? The reason they can do that is because there's no resistance on the rail. So there's just all they have to do is turn up the magnetism, and it's just, the only thing stopping you is like air.
Yeah.
If it was in a tube, like where you could relegate the airflow or the vacuum, then you could probably reach even higher speeds, like they talk about in the underground, where you can go anywhere in the world, 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
on the maglev. They've been doing it for years.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see all my photos of the underground sea creature or underwater sea creatures?
Oh, my
Those are
God.
crazy.
Those blew my mind. Hey, yeah. Picture. Look at that picture. It's got a brain, and then it's got a human skull, and it's got an alien. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that.
Oh.
Whoa! For everybody listening, you'll see this overlay.
The freaking aliens in there.
Oh my gosh.
That's a little scary.
It's a picture of a brain, and it looks like an alien basically holding up the brain, depicting that that's what's inside of us. Oh my gosh. 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 And then if you go down just
So we don't know. I mean, I don't know. I haven't cut open too many skulls in my life.
Well, and if you go down, it says Michelangelo famously studied the human anatomy by dissecting human bodies to perfect his sculptures.
Was there a Michelangelo?
Was there?
And the other one was Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Like did all these travels, but Marco Polo really was Mark and Paul.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they can like kind of hide in plain sight. Some information, because remember on his travels that they're showing that they were riding on dinosaurs and stuff.
Yes.
And they also talked about, I want to say that they saw dragons. And that was that whole thing. There's some other stuff coming out of that. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to format the kind of crap that I'm finding out every week.
Right.
Into like a 30, 40-minute segment. But I'm like over the moon fascinated by this whole North Pole thing, because like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, how remember we did the city in the north with the lights coming out of it?
Yes.
And then these ogeographies, just go with it, people. Ogeographies, I don't know how to pronounce it, are saying that there's a city in the north where light emanates from it. And that's this also. Then there's other ones where, like, that's the seed of the king. That's the seed of Christ. Also, these ogeographies describe city, not even just one, like other cities that are like crystalline cities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is really wild. That like during the hours of dusk and dawn, and it says it in the manuscript, that those are the times when the veil is like the thinnest, and that's when they saw that there was these beings that were twice the height of men. They were men, twice the height of men, but 20 times stronger than men, were helping the men build the buildings with these giant blocks. They were using what did it say? It said it was using like technology, pre-flood technology, that basically it was a series of, it even included the way the stars lined up and things like that. But what I got out, I can't remember exactly what it says. It was something to do with like sound and like leverage.
Mm-hmm.
But what I believe what they were trying to say was acoustic levitation.
Oh.
And then after the millennial reign, there was all these quote unquote not philosophers, but oh god, I'm gonna forget the word now. God darn it! But anyway, they're looking for the philosopher's stone,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the philosopher's stone might be like a phrase that means making something out of nothing. So just like not conjuring, but like literally bringing molecules together to form something out of the ether.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm always like, where do they quarry all this stuff? Yes, some of these places you can find the quarries, but not for hundreds and hundreds of buildings. Some buildings, yes, you can find the quarries like Baalbek. You can find the quarries for the pyramids. But for these other buildings, like especially during the Renaissance, quote unquote Renaissance, in medieval times, and the time period of the Gothics, they don't have like one quarry site. And so is Philosopher's Stone, where they're just creating stones, and these stones are somehow like in the ethereal, like phased out almost, because they were saying these beings were phased out. You could almost see through them, but you could also touch them, and they were made of light. These beings, and they're just men, and these are like the saints with their saint bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting all the words now, and then anyway, so could they be like manifesting a stone, and it floats like a balloon, and then you put it into place, and then when it like solidifies into the third dimensional reality, it just and hardens, and that's also why it hardens straight into the next block, where you can't even put a knife blade or a piece of paper or anything.
Interesting.
And certainly there could be certain levels of that.
Mm-hmm.
They can control it. So anyway, that's what I came up with. And then I'm like, because how are these buildings being built? And then there's other stories where they're like, there's angels. So these beings could be angels, saints. I mean, it's the same. They're interchangeable, these terms.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, what do you think?
That's the craziest stuff I truly believe is real. What is up is down, and what's down is up. So
I mean,
sounds.
it's starting to really lend to the fact that we live in some sort of round craterish Earth. I don't know about the dome, but that seems to happen too. I don't know how it works.
I think it's the dome that makes it the round circular shape. I think without the dome, I think it would just be I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But the whole known lands seem to be in somewhat of a circle. I'm sure it's not a perfect circle, but
yeah,
but it's circular. Circular doesn't mean spherical, but it's circular.
Definitely the crater Earth. Definitely.
But, yeah, and the way if you think of it, like imagine a fully formed pie, right? There's a pie sitting on the countertop. The edge of it is raised, right?
Yeah.
So you got the crust that's sort of raised. Then it kind of dips down. That could be where the seas are, right? It kind of dips down, and then it rises in the middle and rises back up to who knows what height. But I'm just saying the middle height of the pie and the outside crust of the pie are somewhat of the same height, and everything else is in a lower land. So you have to rise up to go. You're in a constant rise going north, like the land wise. I'm talking not water, because water is always level, but the land is rising up. And then as you go towards the south, that land is higher, because remember, the craziest thing to me is that the average height and the highest average height of landmass above seawater, sea level, is Antarctica over every other continent, including Tibet. Hello, but Tibet's the highest, what we quote unquote think is the highest point of land in our world.
Yeah.
And yet somehow Antarctica on average is higher than that land, even at running it on average at 8,000 feet above sea level. 8,000 feet above sea level is really high.
Yes, it is.
And that's an average. So you can imagine that there's mountaintops that go higher, obviously, and then there's lowlands. But I'm just mean, on average, that it's incredibly high. Then you add into the fact that, not a lot of people know this. We talked about this so many times, that Cook, that supposedly found all this stuff, right? Captain Cook. He traveled Antarctica for 40 to 50,000 miles. And none of that would make sense unless you add into the fact that he circumnavigated the entire crust, or what we call the ice wall or whatever, which is what we call Antarctica, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could make sense for the 50,000 miles that he traversed. And then people are like, oh, well, people go to Antarctica all the time. They don't see anything crazy or the ice wall. But then you realize there's only 2 spots in the entire, Antarctica that they go to, that they allow you to go to. And if you look on the old flat Earth map, the round Earth map that, in everything that they secretly put out and everything, like the United Nations logo and some other logos, that they always use the flat Earth map.
Yep.
And you look on that thing, and I forget the name of this map. I can bring it up for you later. We'll do an overlay on it. But that flat Earth map, the only 2 spots that stick out farther than basically the ice wall or the rim of this roundness that we live in, is these 2 spots, and that's exactly where they're going. So they're like, I'd probably say at least 100 or more, 100 to 300 miles farther north, as you would call it on this map, away from whatever is the median of this ice wall, so you would never see it. And you're only allowed to go to these 2 spots. It's underneath Tasmania and underneath Argentina, and both of them have strange names like Rothschild Island, Deception Bay,
Yes.
Illusion Bay, just weird names.
Well,
And then there's all kinds of dragons and like shaped islands, and okay.
yeah, those faces that you can find at the tip of Venezuela.
Which I cannot believe that you found that. That's incredible.
Oh gosh, those creeped me out.
What is that all about? And imagine the size of this snakehead that's there between Argentina and New Deutschland and quote unquote Antarctica there.
Yeah, there's so much they've been hiding from us. So much.
And there's even another weird thing I'm just going to add. Remember those weird anomalies that were like coming up from like between Australia and South America, and there were like 1,000 miles of land and like super dark, and they said there was like 800-foot seas and all this, and like could that be this thing breathing out and like it's coming to, I don't know, it's getting wild. I don't know. Do you remember that what I'm talking about though?
Yeah.
It happened like at least 3 times.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's crazy.
I don't know. Oh, I have something for you along those lines. The dragon.
Okay.
So there's this cartoon from 1982 called Dragon's Flight, or The Flight of the Dragons. It's a cartoon. And the Tatarian guys are all like, dude, you got to go watch this thing. So I was like, okay, I'll try and watch. So I watched some of it. And what it explained was these 2 dragons are talking, and they're like, what you need to eat is limestone, jewels, like diamonds and jewels, and gold.
Mm-hmm.
And what this will do is it'll create hydrogen inside your body.
Yes.
And the inside of a dragon body has thousands of baffles, and all you do is you like, I don't know, like inhale and create. They're basically making their body into a hydrogen balloon.
Yes, and that's
how they can fly.
And Fit Flat Earther has posted these videos before saying that is what volcanoes are.
So I went volcano hunting because I wanted to see what I could see. And I went to Mount Rainier in Washington. And right away I noticed something. And you might not see it right away, but I sure did. But take a look, and then I'll show you. How about now? Is it coming clear now? So I thought, maybe this is just a coincidence. Maybe this actually is just pareidolia. So I went to another volcano, and I found another face that looked pretty similar, down to its eyes and even nose and mouth. And when you compare 2 different volcanoes side by side, faces are clearly there, but this isn't even the half of it, because I kept hunting and I kept going to volcanoes and I kept finding remnants of dragons. Do you see this face here down to its eye, long beak, and its whole dragon body? Again, this isn't even the end of it. But this would have been its stomach, where it would have held a whole lot of its fire acid. Next, I went to Mount Vesuvius and found dragon remnants. This one literally looked like it died here. You can see its head here and its mouth, and like it spewed its acid to create this hole. And just for a closer look, there's clearly petrified dragon head there. And when I show you this next clip talking about bombardier beetles and how they literally have two different types of stomach acid, when they combine, can combust, then I'll give you my full theory on what volcanoes really are. And if you can wrap your head around the fact that dragons actually existed, which in my opinion they fully did, then taking that step to think that they could maybe breathe fire, isn't that crazy when you watch this? This is literally just two ingredients being mixed together with a little bit of water added, and it combusts into fire. It's just glycerin and potassium. They literally mix and they turn to fire. And there's an animal that does this. The bombardier beetle literally does this. As a self-defense, it mixes two different liquids together that when shot out becomes a hot, burning hot acid. Now, is it really that far-fetched to believe that maybe a much more advanced killing machine could have two liquids that when come together just happen to combust to create fire, like the glycerin and potassium? Now here's my theory and my speculation. And like I said, is it really that inconceivable that if a bombardier beetle can have two different liquids that when combined turn to acid, that a dragon could have the same thing? And when whatever killed them and petrified them, the insides all of a sudden came together and created a liquid hot magma. Because to me, that actually makes more sense.
If you ignite hydrogen with your piezoelectrical force of the joules that are inside you somehow, you create fire.
Yes.
So this is how they're breathing fire and how they're flying. Because there are videos of people saying, and like in China where there's like more than one people videoing the same event, and there's this dragon, and people are like, oh, it's AI, but it was before that we had AI. Of course, they've always had AI, so you could never, they mix it all up, and they're like, you believe it, but I mean, it's not just one sighting. It's like all kinds of like sightings. I'm talking really loud and fast of dragons, and they don't look. They're not like. They're not flying right. Things are weird.
Yeah.
And people are under under the illusion that they should be performing to our level of physics, and they seem to be defying physics. And I'm like, this could be the reason, because they're really just floating, and they're also sort of interdimensional too. So, and Golden Bear says, well, they're also flying on like certain etherical waves and currents. And so I'm like, okay, I didn't think of that actually, so have to add that in now.
Well, and I firmly believe that volcanoes are dragons, are dormant dragons, and what you're seeing emitted from volcanoes is literally that hydrogen scientist experiment that we're talking about that allowed the volcano to explode every now and again. It's just that dormant energy produced by the old dragon.
And that's exactly why some places are hot with lava, molten lava into the middle of the earth. But
yes,
but only in those places, because they want to tell you that the center of the globe or the sphere is like molten lava, but that's not the experience. And most of the people that go into the underground never experience heat like that ever.
Absolutely not.
And it's in fact, as Ray Palmer and Richard Shaver that said, no, it's actually like 50, 60 degrees down there. You actually need like a coat, but it always stays that temperature.
But of course they would tell us that throughout history so that we don't go digging, Now,
yeah,
it's
because
too
they're
hot
just
down.
making
Too hot. You can't live in Middle Earth. No way. No way. Hey, don't bother.
Yeah, don't go down there.
Yeah, don't bother.
Yeah, because I mean, no matter how all these explorers and accidental people that have gone into the underground, they never speak of it being hot. It's always, in fact, perfect.
Yes, exactly. Or cold.
And there's other suns, and I don't know. It's so freaking wacky, dude.
Crazy.
It's just crazy. I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's crazy.
I know.
I've been trying to explore this whole Nephilim spirit world thing.
Oh, okay. Let's dive into that.
And so I've been looking into this It's called Dee's Dark Adventures.
Oh.
And so she's quite brave. So what she does is she goes out at night in the middle of the night and goes camping, or she in her van or in her bus or whatever she has. And she and as soon as she does, she's always surrounded by the woodland spirits and Dogman and Bigfoots, and they fuck with her full on. And you can see them as physical form, right? They're moving trees.
Yeah.
They actually show themselves. They actually chased her out of a couple areas, and they actually grabbed her once and dragged her about 100 feet.
Oh my gosh.
But it's all ambiguous once again, so you have to decide if it's real. A lot of people like to dismiss it because that's just easier
Yeah.
But I'm really looking at it with my eyes. I think the most interesting part of Dee's Dark Adventures is she's got a whole series of just still frames that people have taken, and all the still frames I sent you on TG
Oh yeah.
are from her, from these different collages videos that she's done. And so I'll just go back into them real quick. Let's go up and look at them real quick. And the scariest one, I don't know if it's scary, but it really blew my mind because I was watching it the other day, and it's that last photo that I showed you. So I will put the little eyes emoji on it so you can see which one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Now it's a blurry photo, but if you go in on it, you can see that it's a face with a snout, 2 eyes, and it's actually serpent kind of eyes. You can see the mouth and you can see the tongue. And I was like, holy smokes, that is, and it's a huge, gigantic head. And it almost looks like there's leopard spots on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking, this thing is...
That's crazy.
It's like in spirit form. It's like halfway between invisible and 3D.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of other, so there's different, you can look at it with different like shades that I showed. And there actually could be another face right to the next to it with another snout, and there's another one over here. That looks really weird. So what I've come up with is this. I think Nephilim is a broad term for the spirit realm, spirit creatures, and these spirit creatures can be anywhere from an orb, like a condensed spirit like consciousness, into an orb like we all can do.
Yeah.
Like spirits and ghosts and whatever. But these beings can go into that form all the way into any form, like any kind of like shape-shifting form, all the way into them making a body. And then I just heard another story on a cryptid channel, totally separate, and these guys aren't doing the same things, following the same lines. So this is like all different people coming together, and I'm like connecting these dots together. I'm not saying it's me. I'm just saying I'm doing it. I'm bringing these sources from completely different sources that aren't connected at all and aren't even researching each other, but I am. And so my thesis is this, that they can go into different levels of materialization, all the way to the point where they can instantaneously, I know this is in every case because there are babies like Sasquatch babies, so maybe some of these creatures can go out back and forth between the spirit realm, but they also procreate and have babies that grow.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's this other thing where like they can materialize a body instantaneously, and what they materialize can be like a reptile or a Bigfoot or a Dogman, and if you shoot it and kill it, they just leave the body like a carcass. They don't care. It's a shell. It doesn't bother them, and they just go back into the spirit realm.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
And I'm thinking that is real. And the thing that leads me a little credence to that is the fact that more than one source, including Richard Shaver, has always said that the Nephilim, they look really weird, really strange, not like humans, bulbous heads. So you've got mud fossils that look really strange, but clearly they're faces.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Richard Shaver who says they build buildings that look like the Nephilim, and that they're really weird, bulbous faces. And then you've actually got photos of these beings that are clearly in the woodland line with these dark adventures that she's recording, and they have weird, bulbous faces of all different shapes, sizes, and looks.
Wow.
And I'm just wondering if that's what's really. Maybe we need to be thinking of it in those terms. Oh, and then you've got like the Muslims and the Arabs who say that's what the jinn do. And maybe the jinn and the Nephilim, the spirit realm, and the woodland creatures, those are just all the same terms. And and they could just portal in, portal out, create a portal, use a tree, use a body of water, all these different things. And that's why we don't a lot of times find these creatures, because they could just portal in and out anytime.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too, is because a lot of people, shove off the whole Bigfoot idea because they're like, if he was real, we would have found bones or a body or something. No, not if they're supernatural. They can get in and out of portals. They're not stupid.
Right. And how do we know how long one of these bodies will last if it's just a carcass that they're materializing?
And who knows? Maybe they have the technology that if one does go down somehow, they're able to make it like disappear or coagulate off the earth immediately.
Yeah. I'll add something to that. I didn't realize this, but listening to that like really rare audio of Richard Shaver and Ray Palmer talking together, there was a point where Ray says that these beings, because they asked him, where are all these beings coming from? And then he goes, well, they could be coming from other planets, other, our solar system, another galaxy, because they're still under the impression of that science. I mean, they're just laymen that were trying to do this. But he adds one thing. Ray Palmer says, he goes, I think they're also coming interdimensionally. And then they go, oh, another dimension? And he goes, well, maybe not even another dimension, but like a parallel universe. And I was like, dude, this is starting to sound a lot like the Fairy Kingdom stuff too,
See, that's what I believe is going on. I believe we are sitting in a multiverse of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point was going to be, though, that Palmer goes, well, Richard doesn't believe in that. But at the same time, Richard Shaver is also writing stories about other dimensions, but he will never really talk about it. He never will speak about it. And I think that is just a personal filter that he just used upon himself. Right? I think they're still talking about the same thing, because he talks about the dream world where clearly it's a reality, but it's a dream world, right? So there's another dimension, a parallel universe.
Yeah.
He just doesn't use those words. And that's not the only story that he's talked about, so that were like that. So I don't know.
It's crazy. All right, well, on that one, let's wrap this one up and head to the next.
Okay, I got some good stuff for the next one, too. All right, bye, you guys, and thanks for listening to our little show this morning for this week, number 18.
Woo-hoo.
Two P's in the podcast, Matty and JoJo, signing out. Say bye, Joe.
We'll see you on the flip side.
Ding, 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 ding.